Eid Mubarak to all our Muslim faithfuls. It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo. Afolabi Run as always. I have the ladies with me. Hello, Damilola in the building. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I
Good
think
vibes.
we brought in the Muslim. We have to support our Muslim brothers and sisters. And I want to say Barakah de Salah to every Muslim celebrating the end of Ramadan. May Allah accept our act of ibadah like this. And all those things that people stopped doing Ramadan, don't pick it. It will not pay you at the end of the day.
How are you doing, though? How are you doing, Tokwe? How are you?
I'm doing very well. I liked when you said the things that we stopped doing. We should, things they stopped doing, they should not pick it up. This morning, my parents are in my house, so trust me, in the morning they are listening to Koko Nuweroyin and something on radio. That was how one pastor wanted to preach on radio. He said, it's not your alarm that woke you up. You set alarm, but it is God that woke you up.
Yeah.
And when I was like, it's true, this is our Yoruba. You know the way they will say it in Yoruba, it will just come across very differently. And sometimes we just feel like we just go about our activities, but we should reverence the fact that there are some things. Is that if a rich person can buy oxygen, but he cannot force himself to take it in. I was like, wisdom. So I got some very, yes, I got some very humbling wisdom that made me start to worship God differently this morning. So, yes, to all the Muslim, all our Muslims, it takes a whole lot to fast the way diligently. I want to shout out to all my children, all those small fasting children. I know someone that, a 12-year-old that fasted half of the entire period. And I'm like, I want to really celebrate every young child that fasted throughout this period. You are amazing. It takes a lot of discipline to do what you did.
Amaka Fresh in the building. How you doing?
I'm good. So I want to say Barakah de Salah to every Muslim person, out there. It's amazing. Like she said, please don't pick up any bad habits. And I really love the habit of sharing food. Please don't stop sharing the food. We love that. And I just came back from the East. I went to, I had a great time. Although it was for sad events, funerals, but for older people, like people in their 80s and stuff. So it's more like celebration of life. So being in the East is always amazing. I had an amazing time.
You're assimilated into the Yoruba culture. They know that take a celebration of life. In other cultures, they respect the dead. Yoruba, they
no, Igbos celebrate life. They do serious party overnight.
Serious party. I had a blast. Yes.
I think they even do more overnight parties.
Overnight. They do overnight.
I'm sorry, I apologize for my ignorance. But I have plenty of people to celebrate.
Please go ahead.
I'm from a Fuja family. I guess these days I don't hate the entire Fuja family right now headed by Laji Waidi Fuja and the entire Fuja. I greet you. Eid Mubarak today. My auntie, Mrs. Ramota Erogbogbo, Mrs. Honorable.
Is our auntie,
Rewa, all of our aunties. Then my special aunt, my mom's very good friend, my auntie also, Mrs. Shitu, in Dolphin Estate, and every other person out there who's celebrating the end of the Ramadan. Congratulations. Eid Mubarak to all of you. My prayer is that all your prayers during the 30 days will be answered, and God will make us see more Ramadans in future. And to Nima,
yes,
Ramat,
that's our very
and Moyo. They are all Muslims on Your View, and we just celebrate them today also. May they all benefit from the blessings of the season. Let's go on a short break now. When we come back, look at the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. Eid, let's rebuild together. President urges Nigerians. 4 buildings collapse, 14 at risk after Lagos market fire. Federal government extends holiday till tomorrow. Fantastic Falcons qualify for Paris 2024. Fireworks with NLC throws LP into turmoil. Lagos Calabar Coastal Road will connect all regions, says Umahi. Olubadan, succession intrigues deepen ahead decision day. UBA doubles assets to 20.7 trillion naira. Aidatiwa, Jimo, Akintarewa, okay, others for screening. Okay. And which story are we starting with? Eid, who has our story for the president? Who has?
No, I have the Olubadan succession intrigues deepening ahead of the decision day. And this one is saying to us this morning that a new blanket of confusion is spreading over the succession process of the Olubadan of Ibadan land as suspicion is thickening that Olubadan in council members may boycott the meeting slated for tomorrow, during which Oba Owolabi Olakuleyin is expected to be pronounced the Olubadan designate. However, the Otun Balogun of Ibadan, Oba Tajuddin Ajibola, formally made the claim on Tuesday. He told reporters that Olakuleyin was not medically fit for the throne. I think for me, this is the second time I'm picking this story because tradition is I'm huge on tradition. And these are the things that we leave, the legacies that we leave behind for our younger ones. But I thought that growing up, it used to be the younger people that were supposed to succeed the throne, so at least they could spend their lifespan having their Awujale. Well, that's what I think. Culturally, has always been old people, but now the designate is not even. They are saying that he's not medically fit for the throne. It means that are we leaving the cultural setting to now try to advance into something else? Maybe we should just find a balance around it.
Okay, let's move on to the story. Works Minister Dave Umahi yesterday said former Vice President Atiku Abubakar's poor understanding of figures made him goof in his analysis of the 700-kilometer Lagos-Calabar coastal road. Specifically, he said, apart from the economic benefits of the project, it will connect the entire country. Umahi described the issues raised by Atiku as gross misrepresentation of facts and figures and a ploy to mislead Nigerians. He said that, I'm trying to even get his, he added that apart from the total cost of the project being unknown, which is over ₦1 trillion, had been released for the pilot phase, which starts from Eko, Atlantic on Victoria Island to the Lekki deep sea port. He also stated very specifically that the president says, so he said that Atiku doesn't understand figures. I'm going to run figures for him to understand. And he will understand how prudent the administration of the President Tinubu has been. He will also understand how prudence is taking center stage in this administration. I will do that in the press conference in my visit to Lagos this week. So we're expecting the figures, hopefully, to get some tutoring numbers.
Okay, so it's so sad that some people are celebrating and then some people are crying. 4 buildings collapsed following a fire which engulfed part of the Sumu market on Lagos Island yesterday. And that's like my favorite market, where you shop souvenirs, amazing things at very, very good prices. So it's so painful. Lagos Territorial Coordinator of the National Emergency Management Agency, Mr. Ibrahim, said 14 other buildings were seriously impacted by the fire. According to him, the cause of the fire could be attributed to the refueling of a running generator, which they said was purportedly started from a printing house by one Mr. Uche. So the generator was running. Instead of turning it off and refueling, he started refueling it.
Well,
we know that.
You gotta be kidding.
And then the thing now triggered, other generators and the fire sparked.
Yikes.
Yeah, so they said emergency responders at the scene of the event included NEMA, federal and state fire services, police and fire services of the Nigerian Ports Authority. It's also stated that billions of Naira, worth of Naira, goods, everything was lost. It's so sad, and people are crying. They also said that the Lagos state government has ordered immediate suspension of commercial activities in Dosumu Street and its immediate environs.
Really sad.
Reasons, yes.
Really sad indeed.
Really
I know that we have our correspondent there today, so we'll be linking up very soon at some point in the show just to get an update so that some of the state officials might be visiting that place this morning. So we'd like to see that.
Yeah.
Yes, we have a story in Nation.
Yes, I want to take the president's message. The president, in his goodwill message to Muslims, his eid-el-fitr message came out yesterday, and he said that Nigeria, we should see Nigeria like a clay, and that every citizen is a sculptor, and that what you mold is what it becomes, which was why the headline was, "Let's rebuild together." So it was stressing unity, stressing togetherness as critical factors in nation building. That he also, according to a statement, he also mentioned the fact that this end of Ramadan is an hallowed season, and we should remain submissive to God and his command of sacrifice. Alongside other major players within the Nigerian leadership space, the Senate president also gave his own speech, asking that Nigerians should be more tolerant, push for peace and sacrifice, as well as the CAN, that's the Christian Association of Nigeria, also urged Nigerians to be united as we celebrate this season. I feel like it's important that we keep on talking about unity, talking about peace, talking about tolerance, because whenever we're doing this festive season, the reason we're all dressed up, Christian and Muslim, on the show here is because we want to send that message that we celebrate everything, we're all together, we're one.
Okay, moving on quickly now to the Punch. Presidency backs Cardoso, vows further clampdown on racketeers. Fire raises 14 Lagos market buildings, 4 structures collapse. Gunmen kill 5 in Benue, 17 victims get mass burial. Impeachment, Shebu writes CJN and APC members won against ex-deputy governor's return. Ondo, APC panel screens Aiyedatiwa, Akinteriwa and others. Coastal Road project not wasteful, Umahi slams Atiku. Dealers demand 850 naira to the liter diesel as Dangote marketers meet. And eid-el-fitr, let's build Nigeria together, Tinubu governor Senate tells Nigerians. Okay, let me take the major headlines. So, I don't know if you guys have heard the new jive. If Cardoso says so, or something like that. If Cardoso says so, Cardoso can do it, or Cardoso can do it. Some jive that is trending. But anyway, so he said the presidency on Tuesday said the concerted efforts of the Yemi Cardoso-led central bank aimed at stabilizing the Naira is yielding good fruits. It's vowed to continue, the government has vowed to continue its campaign against racketeers, urging Nigerians to expect a stronger Naira that will reflect in a significant drop in the prices of essential commodities in the first quarter of 2025. Special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngalale, was saying that, was speaking at the backdrop of the recent series of the measures rolled out by the Cardoso-led CBN. He also specifically said that the presidency on Tuesday vowed to sustain the momentum, saying regulatory agencies would go after racketeers and malign actors bent on frustrating the efforts of the government. Many of us have seen the Naira strengthen in the last few weeks. As of yesterday, I think it was Naira 1,170. So, and they're hoping that it will continue to gain strength as more of these policies roll out and are sustained over the coming weeks. We're waiting for the best. So, if Cardoso says so, Cardoso can do so. Yes, Cardoso can do so. If Cardoso says so, Cardoso can do so.
Nigeria is full of creatives.
As in...
All right, let's go on a short break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still taking Punch. What's the story?
Yeah, so I want to take the story from the Oba of Benin was receiving some, the command, the Oba of Benin, I'm trying to open my story, sorry. The Oba of Benin was receiving
Okay, let me have another story.
Let me take, yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Oil marketers have called for a downward review in the pump price of the automotive's gas oil, popularly called diesel, being produced by the Dangote Petroleum Refinery to between 700 and 850 naira per litre, as operators plan to meet managers of the refinery next week. The largest downstream marketing association, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, which made the call in an interview with The Punch, said the 1,225 naira per litre diesel price from the indigenous refinery was high because the commodity was produced in Nigeria and not imported, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So the Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria also called for a reduction in the price of Dangote diesel. According to the oil marketers, diesel produced at the Dangote refinery has no vessel cost. It has no import charges and other costs associated with the costs associated with the importation of commodity into Nigeria. So they are calling that it doesn't make sense for them to be buying it at the same price, almost at the same landing costs, if they're importing diesel.
So I wanted to ask, the machines they used to refine it, was it created in Nigeria or was it imported?
No, it was...
So the machinery, the loans he took
Yes.
Was it, did we dash it? Was it international loans or local loans?
No. They're thinking that if the price from the refinery abroad should be the same price from refinery here because it's the same process and the same costing.
So the one here is higher than the one
Yes,
abroad?
it's
relative, almost the same.
The landing cost for the one abroad is 1,220.
Yes.
Then here it's almost the same thing, right? So it doesn't make sense because the importation charges, you're not doing that. The vessel cost, you're not paying for that. And then people are also, you have to put into consideration logistics from Lagos too, from the refinery.
Okay, we'll wait for them to respond to that. Any other story from Punch?
Yes, so the name I was trying to get, the General, Brigadier General Ebenezer Uduyebo, he was the one that visited, is the new commander of the 4th Brigadier of the Nigerian Army. He visited the Oba of Benin, and the Oba extended his condolences to the army and said that there was no justification for the killings that took place in Okoma. He also mentioned that the Nigerian army is seen to be very disciplined and a force to be reckoned with and should not be treated anyhow. He extended his wishes to the Chief of Army Staff for the consistency in the work they've been doing since he took over his leadership in the army. And generally, because all the Obas have spoken about this thing, he hasn't said anything, and I have to respect my in-laws, so I had to take the story. However, there is a more painful story that happened in Benue State, where 5 people were killed in a fresh attack. 17 of the victims are getting mass burials in Benue State. This happened in Upper local government, Agatu, and the west local government areas of the state. One of the person killed was while another person people were attacked on their farmland. These are people doing their regular businesses, and its impact has a ripple effect. An humanitarian worker, Joseph Adakole, said that the continuous attack by armed invaders in Idoma land and is getting out of hand. People are being killed every day. Houses are being burnt every day. Destruction of farm produce have become unbearable, and it's part of the effect we are getting with farm produce getting more expensive down south because these people cannot they can't do their farm.
Harvest.
Okay. Daily Sun, Kano Governor Ganduje fight gets messier. ADC calls for coalition of patriots, parties to save Nigeria. Discos blame system outages on inability to meet 20-hour power supply to Band A. Ohaneze laments hostilities against Igbos. Lagos-Calabar Highway Project, Atiku fires another salvo at Tinubu. More trouble for impeached Edo Deputy Governor. And Olubadan elect physically unfit to ascend throne, says Otun Balogun. Okay. Is the right taking?
So I'll take the Ohaneze decries hostilities against Igbo.
Yeah.
Ohaneze and Igbo worldwide has said they were provocative attacks against the Igbo in various parts of Nigeria outside Igbo land. This is as the President General of the Apex Igbo Socio-Cultural Organization, Emmanuel Iwanyanwu, declared its resolve to protect the interests of Igbo people anywhere in the world, saying it was the group's core mandate. Iwanyanwu described the Igbo as creative, hardworking, industrious, and enterprising people. Yes, we are. Noting that, unfortunately, these qualities has brought them envy from various people. And the main thing he's trying to also state today is the fact that compensation for people, for Igbo people in Lagos, that their houses and properties were demolished, that they should get compensation for that, because that they've gone through the whole legal work and the whole paperwork, and they found out that the Igbos, that their properties were demolished, that they actually purchased and went through due process. Okay. So Lagos State government
have their COO.
Yes, they have their COO. They followed due process to acquire those buildings and to build. They had the building permit, and the Lagos State has a right, like any other government, to take over any building or any land. But those people should be adequately compensated. Yeah. And Lagos State saying that they will not compensate those people or taking their time to compensate those people is a problem for the Ohaneze group.
And I hope that Afenifere to fight for those Yorubas.
Yes,
I have uncles too whose houses have been demolished. Who have people hearing stories. So Afenifere should also fight.
Because Ohaneze is doing what they should do. Because at first I was like, don't politicize, don't turn this into a ethnic fight. Afenifere should speak up.
Aside from that, but I don't even think we should even tribalize this conference. These are Nigerian citizens. Yes. If anybody's building is demolished, they are entitled to
different tribes,
regardless of which tribe. So, Ohaneze's angle, I understand. However, I hope that other groups too can
speak up for your own people. Yeah.
Okay, let's Daily Sun, Anderson.
Yes, major headline. I've been taking the Ganduje story. I was thinking there's a new update. Maybe it's the new attack from the side of the Ganduje team that are saying that the governor has left governance to focus on Ganduje. The Ganduje accusation is still the same. 413,000 has, according to them, allegedly public funds misappropriated and 1.3 billion bribery case against him. It's against him, his wife as well. So the case is going to court. They said that there will be the fight is getting messier. That's what they are saying. But that next week there will be an arraignment. And we've been taking, since Monday, every day, Ganduje's story has been making front headlines. And I understand the fact that the governor wants to get justice for the people, see how much of the funds can be repatriated. But let's also ensure that as we are making the Ganduje story, let's also make Kano, the governance within Kano gets headlines. Let him also share about the developments going on within the state, how he's providing governance for the people, so it's balanced, so that nobody will attack him and say that he's only taunting somebody.
Okay, Nigerians under Band A are sad and lampooning various electricity distribution companies' discos for failing to provide them with sufficient electricity as agreed. The frustrated citizens swamped various social media platforms to vent their anger. Meanwhile, various discos have started publishing inability to meet the required power supply as directed by NERC. On April 3rd, NERC approved an increase in electricity tariff for customers under Band A, including my husband.
Stressing Band A.
Band A.
They say we are getting 20.
My husband has started having hypertension for his
He
has never gotten the bill. He's already anticipating. I said, calm down, let the bill come first. Now, under Band A, customers are entitled to a minimum of 20 hours of power supply per day, and all discos have been authorized to implement the policy immediately. However, to ensure transparency, NERC said where the discos fail to deliver on the committed level of service to the Band A feeder for 2 consecutive days, the discos should, the next day by 10 a.m., publish on its website reasons for failing. So if you don't have electric power in Band, if you're in Band A, you don't have power in 2 days, discos are required to publish exactly what caused the failings.
They tell us every day, but they take it. That's the point. They take it regularly. We don't have, we can only charge us Band A if you are giving us 20 to 24-hour power supply.
My husband has said he's going to disconnect all the power, disconnect all the air conditioning, and going to go and buy fan for. In fact, in our room, we have buying fan for you, fan for me, because he's so confused. I said, let the bill come first. After the bill
let's even see how it will look.
Calm down. Okay, our last paper for today, Vanguard. Tariff hike, 20% of Band A. We talked about our users without prepaid meters. Let's find a story we've not taken at all. Okwama Army Board begins sitting in Warri. eid-el-fitr, FG adds Thursday as extra holiday. 96th birthday, you are a true Awois, Afenifere tells Adebanjo. And misappropriation, Ganduje, wife, others to be arraigned next week. Okay, which story?
Okay, so I'll take the Okwama story because it has a legal connotation to it. The Board of Inquiry constituted by Defense Headquarters to probe the March 17 killing of 17 soldiers at Okwama, Delta State is scheduled to commence sitting today in Warri. Chairman of the board, Air Vice Marshal David Ajayi, told Governor Sheriff Ubovere in Warri, "We are on a fact-finding mission and to apportion blame. We are here to gather facts from security agencies, community leaders, and the community dwellers. This report will also help us to ensure healthy communication that will enhance civil-military relations and ensure that economic activities thrive again in the affected communities." Although the lawyers, they said that the Okwama people cannot participate in the military inquiry because the Okwama people are displaced in the bush. How can people come out to attend such meetings, right? That the right thing that should have been done was to allow the Okwama people come back into their community. This would have given them confidence in the military or whatever panel that they're trying to set up. Although their lawyer, Mr. Ejedegba, he also stated that the Okwama people cannot be part of this inquiry and that they won't appear. Why? Because you cannot be a judge in your own case. The military also has questions to answer in why, the major reason why they were there in the first place, right? And why this thing happened. So they cannot be the one setting up the panel. So yes, the lawyer is also correct in stating that the people will not be there because they are not subject to military military laws, okay? Yeah, and that, like...
And whatever the military comes up with would not have, because it won't have the opinion of the
have the
locals
opinion of the
on
locals,
ground.
yeah.
I have a quick story from Edo State, so because it was followed up on yesterday, that the APC, 12 of the APC members, this is not members, but these are like from the wards, 12 wards of the local government that Shaibu came from, have come out to protest that he must not enter their own party. Yes, that they feel like because he has been impeached from being a deputy governor from the PDP, he would want to, they are hearing he wants to decamp to APC. So they have sent message to the national chairman, Alhaji Abdullahi Ganduje, to say, and every other ESCO, that we do not want the former PDP deputy governor to come. It's like, they said the headline was like, more troubles for impeached Edo governor, as APC rejects him even before he says he's going to APC.
I don't know, you guys, I was only going for 1 week.
Everything.
What happened?
They have removed Shaibu. Our Shaibu that was on your view.
For 1 month,
Hey, please, 1 week. They don't remove Shaibu. It's not fair. They said they're not putting one small guy. One
very young guy.
They said he will operate outside the government house. Did you hear that one?
And another video I saw that was making rounds was in 2020 when he was dancing. So somebody's downfall to Adam Shebele's downfall. And
they'll be all right. All of us have things
all goes
online.
round comes round.
They'll be all right. Let's go on a short break now. We'll come back and move to our next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Sometimes it's always good to highlight some of the good news that happens in Nigeria. So in the last few days, Naira has strengthened, and it was important for us to discuss your thoughts on it. Let's hear your views on the renewed hope agenda of ensuring that our Naira is strengthened such that people can actually plan and budget. Because I remember very correctly, one of the reasons why the president or the federal government had stalled conversations with NLC concerning minimum wage, according to what I read concerning the press release by Ajurun Gulali, said that we need to have a proper strengthened Naira such that when we peg the minimum wage, it is a number that is sustainable. Because the reason why we have this lopsided or continuous review of our minimum wage is because we don't have, the Naira keeps losing value over the years. Right now, if we're able to have a stable Naira, whatever NLC and government finally agrees on on minimum wage can then take people home. People can actually use that to sustain their lives for a longer period of time. So we're hoping with these new measures being taken by the federal government is sustained over time, because that's when Nigerians are scared. Can we sustain this? What are your thoughts on the Naira? What are your thoughts on Nigeria, especially when Cardoso said that, especially I saw a press release from the Central Bank yesterday saying that they are not going to accept dollar as a collateral anymore. I didn't even know that was a problem. I didn't even know people were using dollar as collaterals to get money. So they're not going to accept that anymore. They're giving them 90 days to reverse this, or there will be sanctions. So there's so many things going on out there. What are your thoughts on it? What does it mean to Nigerians? Do you even care about these strengthening of the Naira? Share your views with us close on 081-076-41679, 09024163440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. As many of you know, Your View is about ladies sharing their own views on social issues. So we'd just like to hear your own views. Also, join the conversation on the numbers on the screen. Let me start with the ladies. What are your thoughts? Naira, dollar. In fact, people are calling...
I just feel, the truth is, I feel that Nigeria, and that's why you said we should discuss it. I said that I jumped at it because if Naira had, if the reverse was the case, we would have been discussing it and lamenting on it every day. Surprisingly, my social media family and friends have been mute.
Quiet.
They've just been quiet. The people that were posting, dollar is now 1,007, dollar is now 1,005, dollar is now 1,000. Nobody is saying anything now. I bought dollar at 1.9. I bought at 1,650. I bought at 150. I have not bought since it became 1.2 because I've not traveled. But I traveled a lot in March. So, and because I was preparing for my trip, I had to buy, and it was painful. I am extremely happy that the policies that the government is carrying out is generating results, and we must acknowledge and say when government is doing good work, that the government is doing good work. This is good. The policies have been good. Some people might say, oh, they are only controlling demand. They're not controlling supply. They're not doing. No, this is not about whether they are controlling demand or supply. Because people were quick to yab them that they didn't know what they were doing. The president's reform has put us into problem. Businesses are folding down. You can see no business is saying that dollar is coming down. They are reducing price.
Interesting.
So, yes.
No, but when the dollar was going up every day, they were like, based on the increase of dollar, we have to change our price. This price is only valid for 24 hours. This price is only valid for when dollar is remaining at this price. We are going to change our price now. We are not hearing any of that. Can we Nigerians also call out good things and celebrate good things when we see them?
Let me come to you. You're also a business owner.
Yes. So,
are you reviewing your prices? No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, I believe in the renewed hope of our president. I'm one of those people that really believe. And I love when they say Cardoso, if Cardoso says so, Cardoso can do so, because he's actually doing so. Yesterday, I bought dollar, I changed dollar at 1,100. And I was like, whoa, this is good news. Yes. And euro at 1,150. So that's super amazing. Things are changing. But then we should also, it will take a while for things to stabilize. Yeah. Because I want to believe that by next week, Cardoso would also bring it down to maybe 1,000 or 900. I'm hoping so that maybe they can peg it at, I know you said, Morayo, you said 900, but I'm hoping that they can peg that.
Let me build on that a bit, because Nigerians are hoping for a magic wand. Cardoso is not going to do that. We are the ones to do that by buying Nigerian, producing Nigerian, exporting Nigerian. And when we do that, we begin to strengthen. So Cardoso, yes, Cardoso says so, Cardoso can do so. But we Nigerians, we also have our own part to play. Let me come to you, Dami. What are your thoughts on this?
I think for me, like you said, I'm going to tilt towards your angle, because Nigerians are the problem of Nigeria itself. Nigeria as a country, I don't see it as a problem. But we Nigerians created the enormous problem we are trying to solve by force. And if we look at, okay, like I'm a business owner, I do sales of perfume. I remember that about a few months back, I stopped during 1.9. And now the dollar is 1.1. I'm in a fix. Am I losing about how many Naira? Two, because most of those stocks have not ended. Exactly. You understand? And I now have to buy new stocks again. How do I now tell my customer that this that was worth 25,000, I want to sell it at 15,000? Then how would that 25,000 come to 15,000? It means that I'm ready to part with that 10,000 Naira difference, which is usually the problem of Nigerian business owners, because I have purchased at a higher price already. Now dollar is falling. But on the other hand, it's win some, lose some. There are some days that you even have more profit for something little. You understand? So I think that business owner can also find a way around. Yes, we'll win some, we'll lose some. Let's find a middle ground to say, let us be considerate to each other. Because sometimes it's not this government in connotation that is coming to patronize us directly. It is we fellow Nigerians, our neighbors, our cousins, brothers and sisters. So the empathy is for we to ourselves. Then that's where the government can pick it up.
Something that's also interesting that, people have come out to say that, oh, some stations have come out to say dollar will be 1,000, then 2,000 Naira to the dollar. Some have come out to say that it can never get to 400 Naira to the dollar. We have so many experts talking, and I'm just thinking, okay, can we stop waiting for some magic to happen and realizing that we have a stake in this conversation? I also want to link the conversation to Airpeace. Airpeace recently launched. And I was hearing reports that some other competing airlines are trying to reduce their prices.
They started even reducing.
They started reducing their prices. We like the competition, but Nigerians also, I think, in part of we need to be responsible to patronize intentionally, even if it's more expensive.
Because that dollar is not going to go.
Yes. So I think in talking to ourselves, if we want to help this Naira to strengthen, we must all say, carry face and say it's Airpeace or nothing.
Yes, exactly.
We almost, as Nigerians,
we'll have to. Our decision will form them to conform to what we want. It's not like they will also just sway us around.
What she's even saying is the loyalty to your country. Because your patriotism. Because even as you want the government policy to work, we have our own part to play. The CBN, over the past 1 year, I've had to send $160 million to Emirates Airline. Because the reason Emirates stopped from Nigeria was because they couldn't repatriate their funds. And they are not coming back until they've gotten their funds. Now, it cost us a lot of money to send that money to them. But who paid the money to Emirates? Us. Yeah. If APC is going to Dubai, why don't we go? If they can go. So by the time we realize the impact, which is why we're doing this show, it's educational. So when you understand that if you pay I won't mention other global airlines, if you pay other global airlines to go to London when you could have paid Airpeace, it means that we are spending pounds or dollars when we could be spending Naira,
which is our own.
It saves us that money. It also means that every time you make a choice to buy items, and Morayo is always calling us out. Oh, we have the taste.
Yes.
We want to have.
I have been calling out middle class, and they said that it is middle because we are the ones that have this choice, this taste.
Yeah.
The woman on the street doesn't care if you are
She's
eating burger.
local.
She's eating her food. It is you and I that are going to the supermarkets to buy burgers, buying all these foreign things. We have the problems.
Guess what is
And
cheaper?
and from
And
from TV, my children have been shouting. They want to eat sandwich. They want cheese and kiliko. I say, David and Daniel, cheese and it's not Nigerian food.
Exactly.
I will buy you yam. I will buy you sweet potato.
Exactly.
You will take fruits.
Yes.
But all those imported ones, it's
No
no more.
my children gave me
English. It's not
list.
healthy.
My children gave me list when I was going
What
to
was
France.
inside the list?
Yeah, but you know how kids, I've already told them that we're not buying clothes outside the country because there's no point buying clothes outside the country.
Absolutely.
So they knew that I'm not going to buy them clothes. But they now gave me food. Guess what? They now took pictures of foreign chocolates and snacks and chips and everything I wanted to buy. They now said, this is what they want. I was going to the store to be looking for it. I said, Morayo, they are Nigerian versions now. What is all this nonsense? Because I was really struggling. What should I buy? What can I buy? And look, I don't have it in Nigeria. I will buy. But most of the things, I could find it in Lagos. Is it Cadbury brands? Is it Nestle brands? They are in Lagos. I didn't bother.
We now buy.
So how we buy?
It's just something that grew with us unconsciously.
Yes.
Now we are grown. We are now realizing that we've made the mistake from the inception. Yeah. Because sometimes it's a thing of status. To me, the way I say, like, oh, if you're not buying this brand and this brand, just the way some of our families are heavy on brands. Yeah. I know that when we were growing up, there was a certain type of beverage we drink. And if you are going this beverage, like, no, you are going for inferior, which is both Nigerian, both Nigerian brands. So sometimes we discover that we were the ones that grew the taste of our children unconsciously with wanting to give them these frivolities of life. We might say it's frivolities, but it's big for them. Now that we want to redirect, it's now a challenge for us because we are meeting our own self at the junction.
We are honestly, so I mean, as Tokwe said, one of the reasons why it's important for us to have these conversations because it's one thing to say, government is doing this.
Yes.
But it's another thing to see what can I do to participate.
Exactly.
I think it was the president that was saying that we all must rebuild Nigeria together. All of you pick your own chunk of clay and start molding Nigeria you want. Start molding that because I was really pained. You know, when I was coming in the other day from the airport, I've not traveled in a long time. I'm not one of those very people that have not traveled in a while. And recently I started traveling and I'm seeing the airport, the newly reconstructed airport for the first time in a while. I'm like, I didn't see this on social media. Nobody told me. I mean, it's not totally, it's not totally world class because I've been to other nations. Yes, it's nice, but I could enter Nigeria. I could read the signages. First of all, I could feel the air conditioner in the tunnels, which was great. I didn't used to do that back. I didn't feel that back in the day. Just air conditioner in the tunnels. There were modern tunnels, and then you see the signages for transfers, for baggage claim. You see the glass of them sections. You see the chairs, and I'm thinking, this is Nigeria. Like, hey, this didn't go viral. The immigration received me, told you to line up. In fact, I was upset with one of the ladies behind me because we were lining up at the immigration and they were taking their time checking. And it took me, I was like in line for about 15 minutes. And the woman was already complaining, what are they doing? They're wasting our time. I'm thinking, we're coming from Paris. And we stayed. We waited in line. Yes. We will stand. We conformed. Now you're in Nigerian soil. You're already complaining that they're wasting your time. 15 minutes, you're already complaining. Because there are hundreds of us in the plane.
Well, I also
but they were
think
really, yeah. Please.
Go ahead, Amaka.
Okay. I also think that made in Nigerian companies should also put in a little bit of money in terms of advertising. I don't think we're doing a lot in that. For example, I'm happy with Airpeace on how they pushed the stuff. But they're heavy on it, but they were not doing that with their Dubai flight. I didn't even know that Airpeace used to go to Dubai. Yeah, that was 2 years ago when I missed my Emirates flight, and then I was at the airport and I had to get on another flight and
almost immediately.
And someone said, oh, Airpeace at the new airport actually goes to Dubai. I said, oh, I didn't know Airpeace goes to Dubai. Yeah. And I quickly rushed to the new airport. And that was my first time using the new airport. It was fantastic. I said, so this kind of thing is even in Lagos, in Nigeria. And I went to Airpeace and I bought the tickets like
It was far cheaper.
Far cheaper. I just said, please, Emirates, give me back my money. Don't do, thank you.
I'll not do again.
And the funny thing was that I was the only person in business class. Nobody, the way they served me, I told them it's enough. I don't want any more. And I kept telling them, how come nobody, you guys are so good. How come the treatment I got to Dubai, they had the service waiting for me. I said, how come nobody knows about this? I started doing videos and posting for them. And trying to help them create awareness. And I said, but even so after that, when I even met Onyema, I said, you people need to push the brand more. And I'm really happy with how they do that. So same goes to
but see the Lagos
companies too, in terms of
the Lagos-London route is very important because many Nigerians, London is like going to Ikeja.
London is the nearest Lagos.
It's a huge market. So that was why the publicity was really good. But I think what we should get from this conversation is that regardless of the expenses, we Nigerians must be intentional in picking Nigerian brands, even the clothes we wear. We are talking about air flight. We're also talking about clothes. The clothes we're wearing, all of us.
To shop abroad now because, I'm like, when I get back to Busayo, we so better. I don't need all of this. But Smart will do a good job. What am I even doing? But I want to go back to what you said concerning the improvements that we see in government. I will tell you, I'm a frequent traveler in my small way. And I have seen improvement in the immigration service. I've seen improvements in. I saw it by it was so impressive that I had to tell them that. Even my husband was like, you guys, I don't know what did they change
your
system?
Overhauling.
Whatever was done. There was a difference. And I think that we should always, as we call out bad, let's take the time to celebrate the good. And I'm so grateful to God that I informed every one of them that this is good. And they all said that they are happy that I was the first person that was even highlighting it to them. And many people were not doing, they just walked past. When it's good, you walk past. When it's bad, you do video and play. Let's also
talking about the immigration, the uniforms were clean, crisp, they were courteous, they will greet you, they'll welcome you. How was your stay? And I'm like, I was even shocked.
I think the kudos should actually go to the minister.
I can't hear anybody.
I think the kudos should actually go to the minister because since Dr. Olubunmi Tunji Ojo assumed duty or assumed office, there's been some radical change. I've seen videos and pictures of him just walk into immigration office unexpected, unannounced, to actually see what they do firsthand. But a lot of times that probably some of our leaders, they just felt like what they portrayed to us was like, well, they will do the job. Let's be here. But now that we see practical leaders moving on to sites, to use their eyes to visualize. You can't be telling me that everything is fine. Let me not be able to go there and see that all is fine. So I think we have to also credit the minister for that particular initiative because it's gone
absolutely correct, Damila. Absolutely correct. So it starts from the head. The leaders must show exemplary leadership. But going back to CBN, if Cardoso says so,
Cardoso can do so.
Hey, I love that jive.
I think that's a lot of
Cardoso says so, Cardoso can do so. Go and sell your dollar. If you are keeping dollar, you are holding dollars. I got somebody, people were calling. I know somebody who was calling from the US saying, please, the dollar, please, let me go and sell it. Because they've lost money already. They're thinking, sell it out because I need to, let me have it in Naira. And that just gladdened my heart that I would rather keep your money in Naira than in dollar, at least for now. But the problem is sustainability. Cardoso, I hope, and our federal government, I hope our president are able to sustain this whole thing. But let me let you take a few comments and we wrap up on this. Go ahead.
Okay. I wanted to, let me take the comments. Let me not say what is in my mind. But I feel that they can drive the change that we want to see. They can. And we will all support them to do it. Aderonke says that, but there's inflation everywhere and there's no increase in income. So I hear the people are still, we're now picking on other areas. We're celebrating the dollar, just the dollar. This one, let us talk about it. Yes, more exports and less importation is the only way to strengthen the Naira. The prices of commodities should be adjusted to after the US dollar don't crash.
So talk about prices, guys. It's not nobody, federal government cannot tell Idamila to change her prices. Idamila will want to look at her goods and say, okay, how is it? So it's an individual thing.
Government cannot tell, we can tell them. Because Computer Village was reflecting prices per hour. Like if you want to buy a phone, you go to Computer Village in the morning and they'll tell you by afternoon, dollar is now 1,800. They changed their price. That if I sell this one now, how do I buy another one? But why are we not reflecting per hour the prices of items? I know it has come down a bit. So the truth is, it's not everywhere that can be immediately, that can implement immediately. But I know that in Computer Village, my husband operates there. IT products have reduced in price based on this. So let's not, it might not affect those that have imported. If, let's say BC that imported hair now, that paid how much for importing hair. She can't change her price until after there's a new.
Lagos too.
Yes, you have to sell off the stock.
Sell off the stock. That's exactly what I said, because I have products I bought in 1.9. Am I losing?
As we are feeling for you, Nigerians, if you also are, if you are selling off old stuff, don't sell it at new dollar rates. That's unfair. Don't sell old stock on new dollar rates.
We're going to be wrapping up on this, but I think it's a good thing that hopefully, indeed, the policies the government has put in place, we're seeing the results. We're hoping it to be sustained. We're hoping that they are able to go after the racketeers, and and ensure that they don't manipulate and even truncate the process that we're already seeing. Because the truth is that Nigerians will be really happy if the Naira is strengthened. And hopefully that will have a ripple effect on our economy. Jobs will be created. People can now plan properly. And I was even told that many of the goods that were banned have been lifted because they want everybody to come to the banks for transactions. So before there was certain goods that were banned. But now, I bring your goods in, but to go and buy it, come to us, come to the bank, come through the books. Let us see how you're transacting. And that's why somebody was telling me it was so difficult for him to buy because he was trying to import some goods. And he said that he had to go, in fact, they insured the process. He was really, really surprised that
even transferring school fees.
All the, yes.
People were lamenting they could not transfer school fees. But now that you are able to transfer school fees, nobody is
So CBN, I think the government is paying directly.
Yes.
Yeah. They're not giving you the money anymore.
Yes.
The government is paying for you.
Yes.
So that's the process. And Nigerians don't like process. We like to go through the back door and do it ourselves. And they're not allowing that anymore. But we have to wrap up. But I think what's crucial for us is that let's buy Nigeria. Let's wear Nigeria. Even if all the airlines are cheaper, please let us be intentional about buying Nigerian airline, because we need to support a Nigerian brand, regardless of all the other issues.
We need to go back to that giant of Africa.
Giant. When I was flying, when I went to Turkey, everywhere Turkish airline. I'm like, what's all this nonsense? Everywhere Turkish airline. There's one other airline I was seeing. What's all this nonsense? We can do better. We can do better. Nigerians can do better. Let's go on a break now. When we come back, move on to the next segment of our show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So Eid Mubarak to all our Muslim faithfuls. We're going to be showing some live pictures from Dodon Barracks where our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, will be performing the prayer that marks the end of the Ramadan. We're going to be taking some pictures here now from Dodon Barracks as our president. I can see the deputy governor of Lagos State, Dr. Hamzat, also there. And quite a number of government officials will be there performing the prayers at Dodon Barracks. So, you can see the former governor of Lagos State, Mr. Fashola, Babatunde Raji Fashola is also there, amongst many others. Mr. Oyetola, that's the former governor of Osun State, Oyetola there, and quite a number of others. We have other dignitaries there, all performing the final prayers to mark the end of Ramadan and celebration to all our Muslim brothers and sisters across the world, and especially to those on Your View, Nima, Akasha Tibiri, she's probably also on the prayer ground somewhere in Lagos right now, to all our other sisters here, Ramat and Muyo. They are all also going to be praying today. So we're grateful to God for the 30 days of fasting of all our Muslim faithfuls, and we pray that the blessings of this season will abide with them and their families. Amen. Okay, so coming back to the studio now, we'd like to take in some calls to celebrate those of you who are celebrating. I know many of them are actually still praying. Others have left the praying ground. But it'd be nice to celebrate the Eid with our Muslim faithfuls across the country. You can call us on 081-0764-1679, 090-241-63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Those of you who are not Muslims, how are you celebrating the Eid today? What are your plans today? Taking the children out? What plans do you have for today? Share with us. I'd like to hear your own thoughts. Let me start with you, Dami.
I think basically for the celebration, unity is very important. Peace is more important because when there's peace, there will be unity. A lot of us do not practice what we preach. I think a few days back, I was on the Intellectual Disability Conference and I spoke heavily on empathy. You don't know what the other person is going through. But we are quick to face religion when it's time for Ramadan. We are like, I want to be holy this period. After Ramadan, what next? After Easter, what next? Do you go back to your old self of being the peevish kind of person? Do you go back to your old self of being the wayward kind of person? So some of this religion teaches us how to live an exemplary life. But it just feels to me that Nigeria just come holy during that season. I think that the Ramadan is not even as popular as the Lent for the Christians. We don't have so much attention on the Lent. In fact, sometimes if you don't see Ash Wednesday on people, you don't even know that Lent is going on. Unlike how they've heavily invested on the teachings of Ramadan for even children, like TMO said, even children they've been indoctrinated to know how to fast. So these things and the tenets of our religion, we know what it teaches us individually, either Christianity, traditionalist, or even Islam. But it is good that we always abide by the teachings of our religion. If we so claim that we are religious in nature, let it reflect in our attitude during whatever season and beyond.
Exactly.
I just feel that the conversation around Ramadan is not a conversation that we can just, because there's a lot of things, good things that happened. Amaka highlighted the fact that there's a lot of food giving, but it is very sacrificial. And I think that it is something that we would all discuss from the perspective of this sacrifice that we're sacrificing to ensure that our hungry brothers and sisters do not continue to go to bed hungry. We are able to sustain it. When you, and also what I was in Dubai during the fasting period, it is there you realize that Nigerian Muslims are very hardworking. Nigerian Muslims would be fasting and they would walk through the entire period. In Dubai, they will shut down at 11 in the morning and they will resume until after, they will close their shops. I'm fasting. They close shops at 12 and then they will resume after they have broken fast. So, because they felt like this is really exerting to be working all through the day when you're not eating and you can't drink water as well. So, I think that we should applaud those who have sustained the fasting from beginning till the end. It's not
there was a video that Mariam sent. I'll come to you, Amaka. There was a video that Mariam sent into the group that was Christians in UAE opening up their churches for iftar. Which I thought was very instructive of the unity that Dami talked about earlier. Because we don't see a lot of that happening here. We are, as a united people, the truth is that even the Christians, during this season, it would have been very remarkable if churches open up in the evenings for Muslims in the neighborhood to come and have somewhere to break their fast for their iftar or to even pray. Because there are some people that will be praying outside on the streets because there's no space in the mosques. So these are some of the unity that we must be seeing as a nation, because we must also use this opportunity as an opportunity to, this season as an opportunity to remind ourselves of how we are as a people. We are one. But politicians use religion to divide us. But we, the people, must be able to direct ourselves. And you know what? We must be united as religious human Nigerians in this country. What are your thoughts on this?
So let me come back to what you said about unity. Like a friend of mine, he's Christian, right? So he sent me some money and I added my own money to be able to feed people, the Muslims, during their fasting period. Do you understand? That was a very remarkable thing.
Wow.
He's Christian. But then, he felt like that they need food, they need stuff, to support, not just the Christians, but Muslims. And then that's also unity. And then back to also what she said about feeding, sacrificial feeding during and giving during the fasting period. But it's one thing it's important to be sacrificial, but it's also important to give within. You know, most times people, most times people want people to see that they are giving outside, but then they're not taking care of what is inside. Like, I have a friend, she's Christian, but she's with a Muslim, and she was complaining to me bitterly like that. See, there's so many bills that needed to be paid this period. Many things that they needed to do. But this person is not even asking or sorting out the issues.
Charity begins at home.
Charity begins at home. But instead, he's busy trying to say, oh, I'm feeding 200 people this season. Like it's something of like a bragging thing. Or I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So
no, but I think
where do we draw the line?
In religion, there are specific instructions that you must do during this
season.
So it might not be because he wants to brag, because he's trying to follow the tenets of Islam that says you have to give out certain things. I think
the
people have told me they're hungry.
The little I know about it is that there's an attributed blessing during Ramadan when you feed people. And most times, even for those that cannot fast, because I think having to be a broadcaster and having Muslims around me, my partner, his father, my children, they have Muslim names and all of that. So I learn. And I understand that during this season, it is particular, even if you are not fasting, it is accrued of you to feed those who are fasting, to get at least the exact amount of blessing as though you were fasting. Right. So something like Morayo said, some things is the tenant. He doesn't want to lose out in that blessing. But also, we have to look inward. Yeah. Like you said, there's no acknowledgement for the person that is doing outside, that his house is leaking, and you're patching other people's roof. Yeah. So
I think it's really instructing. And I also want to use the opportunity to celebrate Nima. The new show she hosted this year, Iftar with Nima, was fabulous. You know, she
congratulations.
Really, Nima was, and Alaja Doja, with Mr. Musa, Lukman Musa was the producer, and Best Man, all the four of them, was a four-man crew, and they were able to come together and back-to-back every single day. And the reason why that show was created was because we felt that a lot of Nigerians we as Nigerians, we don't know each other. We don't know, Christians don't know Muslims, Muslims don't know Christians. And there was an opportunity for Christians to learn about Islam, to understand what is being done, the rituals during the season of Ramadan, all the various sacrifices that had to be made, the various tenets of the religion. And that was what Nima focused on. And she also visited many people to break the fast with them. She had iftar with different families, got to talk to them, understand them, know them. You know, it was a wonderful program. I'm really happy she was able to do it successfully. And I'm hoping that next year will be better.
And it was a stretch for her. It was growth for her. As in for me, I know Nima. Nima doesn't joke with this season. Nima's Ramadan is family time. There's a lot of family responsibility. It was a huge sacrifice. And for me, I like the fact that you're celebrating what it cost her and the entire team to put it together, because doing this, Muslims should extol it even much more, because she's seeking to democratize the knowledge that some people have. I've learned a lot about Islam from being around Nima to realize that a lot of other Muslims I knew did not know, and they were just practicing the religion. They don't really understand it. And I've watched a few of the episodes. It was very educational. It gave you an understanding of what is going on behind the scene. And
I wanted to demystify Islam to Nigerians. Now, listen, we are all Nigerians, and we must also respect respect each other's choices, religious choices.
Nigerians
and it is
before
personal.
we became religion.
And everybody is personal. Your religion is personal to you. You shouldn't determine how I treat you or how I judge you. It's your personal decision. We must have conversations based on our capabilities and abilities to socialize, not based on our religious choices. Let me take this call. We're going to be wrapping up on this. Good morning. Thanks for calling. You're live. Aramide from London. You're live. Go ahead, please. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
I'm the first-time caller.
Welcome.
First-time caller from London.
Yes, we just clapped for you. Go ahead.
Hello?
We can hear you clearly. Go ahead.
Yes. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I really appreciate this topic you are taking on today. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. How is everybody?
They are well.
I'm sure Lima is not there, will not be there today. Thanks very much.
Yes, thank you. Okay, we're hoping to get more calls from Muslims celebrating. I'm sure Aramide is a Muslim. Maybe that's why she's just grateful that we're celebrating. But it was important for us to bring it up today because the idea really is to celebrate. And I really hope this time next year we can talk about a church opening up its doors. And also mosque open up their doors for religious...
I'm sure it already happens in some parts of the world, of Nigeria. It might not be. It might not be Lagos. There are many I've seen before where some Muslims were praying in a church's open ground because the church had open ground. And I think it was around. It was in the southwest, but the video went out. It wasn't even about Ramadan. So I believe that this is already happening. But maybe we should talk more about it and not make it look like it is.
If we really look at it, like in the denomination where I worship as a CNS, we have a lot of Muslims converted, either ways you like it. You have a lot of Sadiq, you have a lot of Hamzat, you have a lot of Muslim names amongst us. Yeah. So I also think that because religion, we are first persons before we learnt the religion. So the humanity aspect of it should not be taken away because of religion. Look at, for instance, what happened in Ilori a few years back about the traditional worshippers clashing with... We are first human beings. Yeah. It wasn't necessary. To me, it wasn't necessary. Just let everybody their space to practice their religion. So far, it's not an hindrance to you yourself. That's the only way you can excuse yourself and say, okay, I'm not part of this. But we first, before religion or before tribe.
Humanity. Right, we have to run with this, but I think, Mamaka, any
final words? I wanted to ask her, like, what's CNS?
Cherubim and Seraphim.
Okay,
the White Garment Church, which is different from Celestia.
Okay.
It is?
Yes, it is different from Celestial Church of Christ. Where CNS is different from Celestia. Because we wear white garments. We wear slippers. When we get to the church, we take off our slippers. Celeste don't wear slippers at all once they are wearing the white garments.
And then guess what? I was part of people that never used to understand why CNS. They used to take off this is CNS. Why they used to take off the shoes. So recently, there's a movie that premiered on Netflix about the Testament, the Book of Moses. And then it was while watching that movie,
the commandments.
It not really dawned on me that, oh, this is
that's the holy ground. Yes,
it's a holy ground, and that's why most people.
The commandment of removing shoes.
And
like a light knowledge.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. So
that's why Iftar with Nima's show was really important, because once you understand. Yes. Wow. I remember there was a pastor I would never forget. I would never forget there was a pastor that was preaching on the pulpit many, many years ago. And he was saying that the fact that the Muslims kill ram, that that ram is ritual. You should not eat it. That it is a ritual. And what they are saying, they are doing some incantations before they kill the ram. And I remember that sermon. And then I was very, very foolish. I was from a Muslim background, so I knew it was not rituals. I knew, I was very clear because I know what it was. So when this man was on the program, people would say, really? And I said, I'm going to my family member to go and eat. They say, I want to go and eat ritual. It's post lack of information.
Lack of
That's
knowledge.
why it is important. There are people that are still thinking that way. Because what is being said is prayers. It's just like it's in Arabic. And suddenly your own brain.
Arabic is a language.
It's a language. So, but in their own brain, it is ritual. Lack of understanding. So that's why it's important that we have these shows to re-educate, reorientate, so that we understand.
And you make choices
based on your understanding.
Exactly.
Which was very, very good. So I'm really happy. Congratulations to the entire team for this. And congratulations to the Muslim community for the completion of their fasting. And we're hoping that Lent too, I know that Lent is also ongoing.
Lent is God, we've done Easter. You traveled.
So you're not
my brain.
You're not Christian.
I'm not Christian. I'm not Christian.
I want to know now.
I'm not Orthodox.
That's what I said, because the popularization of Lent is not as much as Ramadan.
I know that's why we have Easter. You see, my brain was not calculating the whole thing. My speech and the brain were not communicating. But then we go on a short break. When we come back, we'll bring in our special guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. As many of you know, Wednesdays we love to celebrate women across the world doing great things, Nigerian women specifically. And today we have with us a highly accomplished international keynote speaker, business analyst, and consultant based in Calgary, Alberta, who has made significant contributions in helping professionals and immigrants kickstart their careers. With more than 100,000 professionals from over 90 countries benefiting from her career coaching and keynote speaking, She's widely recognized as an award-winning career coach. Welcome with us, Eno Eka, to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so
Good to
much.
have you.
Thank you so much, Morayo.
So you live in Canada?
I do.
And you're all the way here in Nigeria and
Yes.
visiting, I think?
I am visiting, and then I'm also hosting the training this week.
Yeah.
So, yes.
So what we do on Your View, once in a while, especially maybe once a month or twice a month, we try to bring in women who are doing great things just to celebrate them. And we feature them on Wednesdays. And you are our feature today. And we'd like to learn a bit about you, your career, how you started, mostly how you landed in Canada, because of the jackpot moves. But give us a summary of your career foundation and where you are today.
Sure. So I guess I'll start from the scratch, which was I studied accounting. Even though my parents wanted me to study medicine, I studied accounting. But just like
Where?
University of Benin.
Hey, see, Nigerian mind. Go ahead.
But just like everyone else who studies something and then you get into that career path, and I wanted something more. And so I started researching careers and I found business analysis. So I was like, okay, this is the career path for me. So I started doing trainings. I had to go to Ghana to write the exam. I started the career here. Then one of my friends told me about Canada. So I applied, and then in 1 month I got the visa, and I was able to relocate to Canada to continue my career there. So that's how we started. But when I got to Canada, that's when things really like blew up for me. Because it's a highly in demand skill set there. So in like 6 months, I landed multiple six-figure jobs.
Wow.
And the Nigerian community is so small, like everybody knows. And so people are like, how are you doing it? Like, we've been here since, and we're working like security jobs. How did you do it? And so we put together WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, and that's really how, so that's really how it all started.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay, for me, I'd like to know, because I tell people that my definition of success is opportunity meets preparation. Exactly. You have to own the two. Yeah. But the way you said after your training in Ghana, it took you 1 month to get visa. That 1 month feels like, it's sugar and honey. It was, very short. So what were the tenets? What did you put in to achieve that 1 month lapse when some people are trying to achieve it over 6 years or more than?
Oh, for sure. So for me, I invested in a lot of courses, trainings. I got mentors who would guide me. And it took me about 6 months to get certified. It takes a shorter time now, but me moving from a career in accounting, and there weren't a lot of resources back then, it took me way longer to achieve that. So about 6 months to get certified. Wow. And even at that time, it wasn't such a popular career path in Nigeria. People were saying, what are you doing? Go and do your ICANN or your ACCA, like you're an accountant, But I'm like, okay, it was more of a futuristic thing for me. Like, in the next 5-10 years, this is going to be a booming career path. So I want to be one of the first people to get there. And even when Canada came, I got my visa in 1 month, my PR, but I didn't leave until a year after. So I planned that. So I was looking at job descriptions, connecting with recruiters, hiring managers, talking to people.
You're quite intentional.
Oh, yes.
You didn't just carry your bag and go.
No, I did not. I got there like 3 days before my visa expired.
Oh, you're kidding. That's new.
I took my time and I planned. And I tell people all the time, no matter where you're going to, UK, US, Canada, prepare, like you said. Prepare, be intentional. Yes, be intentional. And so when I arrived, the next day I had interviews, like it was interviews back to back. 2 weeks in, I got my first job.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Fabulous.
So the career coaching, is it just for people in Canada, or does it spread across? If you're in Nigeria, if you're in America, everywhere? Or is it just specifically for people in Canada?
No, it's global. So we have clients from Asia to America to Nigeria. We have a school here in Nigeria. Like Morayo was asking me, I'm actually here for our business analysis school conference here in Lagos. So we are based here in Nigeria, and we help a lot of Nigerians too, because it's a thriving career path here as well.
So I want to go back to your story, especially highlighting your preparation.
Yeah.
Because we spiritualize everything and we pray for miracle, and we're not taking cognizance of the timeline of preparedness.
Yes.
And in your job, in your career path, and in your coaching path, what do you think many Nigerians overlook as they pray for career growth as opposed to prepare for career growth?
That's a very good question. One of the things people overlook is their soft skills and their transferable skills. A lot of times we feel like we need to get a new degree, we need to get another master's, another MBA. You meet the average Nigerian abroad, they have 3 degrees, but they're working flipping burgers. So we always feel like we need to get more education, we need to fast and pay. But we can leverage the skills that we already have. We can also get mentorship, we can get coaching. We can also take courses that can help us to upskill. Those are things that we miss. And then we should also...
When you say soft skill, so not everybody would know what you mean by soft
Yeah, so soft skills are like your communication skills, your ability to lead and influence, your empathy, emotional intelligence. These are actually skills that play across all fields. So while you're trying to get the hard skills, like learning new tools, getting new degrees, focusing on those things are key, because those are the things I learned when I moved to Canada, that, they focus more on the soft skills. Like, you go into an interview and they're not asking you about like the job. They're asking you like, how would you challenge your manager, if they said something that was wrong? How would you, talk to a customer who, is upset, an irate customer?
How do you relate with your
so those
colleague?
are the kind of questions they're asking. And then as you're answering those questions, they're picking like, okay, what are the skill sets that he or she has? So those are some things that we want to do. And then also not trying to copy other people, right? Like
Being
know
original.
your
Authenticity.
path. Yes, know your path and follow your path. Focus on your own skills and your strengths. That's what's going to work for
Just to
you.
buttress what you're saying, I know somebody was telling me that her daughter got an interview for an Ivy League in the US, and they came with all her qualifications, her grades, her GPAs, and all the questions were around community service you've done, the track record and stuff, like your ability to engage people,
Yes.
the leadership skills. So you're right, a lot of people now are focusing more on soft skills. But I've always had this theory in my head.
Yeah.
The Nigerians who have their first degree here turn out so much better when they go abroad. I always have that theory in my head because they are more focused. Could you tell me if indeed it helped you having your first degree, having matured in Nigeria, gave you some kind of a focus when you were able to travel abroad? Or do you think it's just somebody just speculating?
You're actually right, because I moved by myself. I didn't have any family there. And so I had to quickly find a job and all of that. So I prepared. And then when I got there, I had to study and understand what companies are looking for. And so because of the Nigerian factor, I'm used to preparing for, harder exams. So it was easier to pass a lot of the exams. It would take me like a week to prepare for a certification and I would get it. I'm used to studying, staying up at night, doing a lot of that research work. So it definitely really helped. And then that resilience that we have as Nigerians, we're so resilient. And that's something that we need to also tap into and be able to tell our stories in a way that it resonates with these people. A lot of times we say, there's that bias, and that's just because we're not educating them. You go into an interview and they don't know, any of the banks or the telcos here, but you can tell them how big they are, their asset size, the size of the company, those kind of things. And like, wow, I didn't know we have banks in Nigeria with, over 200 branches. Like, for example, my first interview, which was my first six-figure job, it was a financial technology company. And I was going to be working with on a project that was a merger of 5 credit unions. So credit unions are like the microfinance banks that we have here. And I said, I'm coming from a commercial and retail bank, and we have over 200 branches. They're like, seriously? I'm like, yes. Yeah. That's my experience from Nigeria. Like, wow. These companies you're going to work with, they have like 5-6 branches. So this would be a piece of cake for you. And I talked about the valuation, the kind of softwares we use. So we need to also educate them to let them know that, look, we're not
coming from the village.
We're not coming from the city or the jungle. We have to do better, in educating these people and telling them more about that. Like when I come to work, I bring my eba and my gusti. And they're like, are those like, bonds? Like, yeah, they're called Gary bonds. Educate them, tell them about our culture and what we do and who we are. Like, we have to do that. And in those interviews, show your authenticity and share your story in a way that resonates.
Okay, so in having done this for a couple of years now, can you tell us the 3 to 5 thriving sectors that you think people should really key into, or the 3 to 5 sectors that people are actually getting jobs in?
That's a fantastic question. So the top 3, I'll say top 5. The first is banking, finance, and insurance. These industries always hire business analysts. They are innovative. There's a lot of projects going on there. The second is government. The government actually hires a lot of business analysts, product managers, project managers. And then also the third is healthcare. So healthcare, because there's a lot of processes involved, they hire a lot of process analysts. And then we have consulting. And then we also have retail and e-commerce.
Fantastic. You
Yeah.
have them at your fingertips.
That's what she does.
So do you have a social life? Do you because people see you as an efiko. I mean, all the things you just said right now. This girl doesn't. She's a very, very focused
Very
person.
serious.
Very serious. Do you go out? Do you party? Do you have a life in Canada?
I do have I'm not a social bird, but I do have a social life. I do. So I love music. So I could go to like a lounge, I go to parties, and all of that. I know I go to church, so I have a good social
Balanced
life.
life.
And there's a lot of life in Canada. Like Nigerians are there. There's Owambes, there's parties, like so much fun, so much
There's
fun.
an assumption that people are so far away, far apart that they
lose
no
connection.
time. You know, they lose connection. There's no part to. There's no opportunity to really integrate. But you're saying that Nigerians are out together.
We are. I'm in a couple of WhatsApp group with Nigerians, and trust me when I tell you that there's always something happening. Summer is coming, and I tell you that it's going to be back to back Yoruba Day, Igbo Day, Akwa Ibom Day. We have all of that.
Okay, let's go to WINS, Women in Need Society.
Yeah.
How did you come about WINS? What are the wins of WINS? What are you working on?
Okay, so Women in Need Society is a non-profit that I am affiliated with, and they support women who are suffered domestic violence and are displaced. And I support them by providing them with funding and training as they need. So that's one of my charitable organizations that I am focused on supporting. Yeah.
Okay, so your Instagram page calls you Miss Pragmatic.
Yes.
And for me, I always feel like relationship, that is the miss part I'm going to, don't mind me. Because many people go into diaspora, and we're talking to many Nigerians whose aspiration is to leave Nigeria.
Yeah.
And they're wondering how would relationship fare over there? How would you describe human communication relating? I know you mentioned that there are parties and all of that, but people feel lonely when they go. Are there things you can do to prepare yourself mentally for the change in what will happen over there, especially with relationships?
Yeah. I think one thing for me was before I got there, I started building friendships, networking. So I would go on LinkedIn.
Really prepared.
Very intentional person.
Pragmatic.
I'll go on LinkedIn and I'll filter for like Nigerians who are already in Canada, and I'll look for people who had the same career path like I did. So say because I worked in banking, so I would look for people who have mutual connections, I'll reach out to them, I'll ask for an introduction, and I'll take it off to WhatsApp and then continue that that relationship there. So doing that, and then even with the local church too as well, volunteer, show that support as well. So those are ways that you can keep that up. Join the WhatsApp groups and then just show support. Like for me, in those groups, I became very popular by sharing job opportunities. Like talk to this recruiter, there's this opportunity here. If you need help with a job interview prep, give me a call, I'm available. So those ways you can also support to people, and then they will also help you when you need it.
So I know you also you work with non-Nigerians.
Yeah.
So if you want to give some kind of an analysis of how better are they equipped than us in this kind of getting jobs? Are there things they know that we don't, or are we even more equipped than they are? I mean, especially when you want to compare non-Nigerians from Asia, parts of the world. Do you think they have something better than us, or do you think we're faring well? As you guys
I think we're definitely doing well, and like I said, now we don't really leverage that. So I'll give an example. For a typical Nigerian who moves abroad and is trying to get into a career path. So here you wear multiple hats. Like your title can be associate, it can be marketing, it could be anything, but you're wearing multiple hats, and that gives you an opportunity to apply for multiple positions. And you can speak to different aspects of that industry. So, we have that opportunity, and we're able to leverage that as Nigerians. The fact that we wear multiple hats, and we know that, sometimes we're doing more than our job descriptions, but that gives us that opportunity. And, our resilience too as well. In fact, to be honest, a lot of the hiring managers I work with, when they have opportunities, they reach out to me. They love working with Nigerians. We're very hardworking. And they see that. They see our commitment to work. And so that work ethic that we have here, we take it on and we excel in our roles. We see Nigerians growing really fast in corporate America and Canada.
Okay, so I can see how well adept you are in speaking in front of the camera. And I can see that you have a live stream and podcast chat.
Yeah.
So what's that about, and how has that been going?
Yeah, so I have a fireside chat with Eno. It's a podcast where I talk about issues related to careers, business, and I invite guests to come speak to as well. And so doing that podcast has helped me to get a lot of media features as well in Canada, the US, and also here. And I'm really happy to be here. Thank you.
Lovely. I mean, I think learning from you today has been really interesting. I can see how you're able to impact people. My producer is asking me to say if you're eligible. I think he's trying to marry you or something. So he's like, is she available? Because he's asking. So he wants to know. Our producer, I've asked for you.
Well, Eno is single.
Single and searching or single and not searching?
They're different levels. Different levels. Have you seen somebody?
Or singularly.
In Canada.
In Canada.
You're a Nigerian. Are you looking for a Nigerian? None.
I would definitely love to be with a Nigerian. I love Nigeria. I love the culture.
Yeah.
I would definitely love to be with a Nigerian for sure.
Good.
Yeah.
Producer, you have a chance.
Any tribe, a specific tribe in mind?
Started with this tribe.
I just want to ask.
Let's see.
Tribe.
We can do everything.
No, wait, now let her answer. Any specific tribe in mind?
I don't have a specific tribe,
Let
actually.
it just be nice.
Nigerians in the diaspora don't have tribe. Now I was waiting for Nigeria to find tribe. They blended.
They just want a good man.
Someone just made a comment on YouTube saying that data analyst field is oversaturated and they're not getting top money. Is that true?
So that's a good question. So what I'm seeing right now is that data analysis has become very niche. And so if you have a data analysis skill, you want to get more skills like AI and quality. So we're seeing more of data quality assurance analysts, AI data analysts. So you can't just leverage on data analysis right now because of AI.
You have to find a niche.
Yes.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
So how often do you do your trainings so that people can actually come to you?
Yeah, so we have virtual classes every month. So we have classes every month. We certify people in business analysis. They get practical training, career coaching, and then we do this live conference once a year.
Do you help them to jackpot or you just do the training and do you help them with the processing of moving to Canada?
No, I don't help them because I'm not a licensed immigration consultant. However, a lot of the people who join our programs are looking to immigrate most of the time. So they want to get those skills. And because I always tell them, prepare. Don't do that, let me go there and just rough it. And then you start complaining. So a lot of people are now taking the time to join those coaching programs because they're 3 months to 6 month programs.
Part of your profile also reads that you're a campaign ambassador for the United Nations and the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees.
Yeah.
Refugees.
Yeah.
Can we categorically say that we have higher number of refugees abroad looking for a place to, put their head? How did you become a campaign ambassador for that particular office?
Yes, so that campaign was to support immigrants abroad, and it was for people who are immigrants and refugees. And I was selected as one of the successful people who have relocated to Canada. And just to show that even though people don't come from here, they can still become something. And we do have a high number of refugees, especially from African countries where they're war-torn. And, telling people that even though they're refugees, some of them still have, skills and can be hired in companies. So advocating for them is something that I enjoy doing as a campaign ambassador for the UN.
We heard these horror stories from abroad. They're sleeping under the bridge, they're freezing.
Yeah.
Those things really exist, or they just made up stories?
They do exist for sure. They do exist for sure. And that's because the shelters sometimes, are full. And then with the Ukraine war, that really, took things. But I think Canada really does a really good job in supporting refugees. But I really tell our people, if you're already a professional, you don't need to go that route. Just leverage your skills and experience, apply for the skilled worker visa if you want to, to leave, unless you truly have that need, so that you can give people who needed the opportunity to be in the shelters.
Wow, fantastic.
So,
I think, go ahead.
I just
take a few comments on social media.
I feel that you've added so much value to yourself and you're paying it forward, and I don't know how young you are, but it's just so amazing that some people are still thinking that they can't figure it out. So would you attribute your level of self-development to parenting, or would you just say, please don't say it's God. I know it is God, but where would you? Was it your parents? Yeah. Was it aunties? Did you have mentors right from when you were growing up, or how did this happen? How did you become this person?
I'll definitely say parenting for sure. So I grew up in a household where it was normal to discuss, current affairs and politics, and my dad would give an award for whoever, answered the questions correctly. He would have Punch and Guardian and all of that delivered to the house, and you're supposed to read it, and we discussed that at dinner. We would watch, NTH, Franco Lise, and all of that. So it was sort of a family thing to be well informed. And I also come from a family of ethicals. So there's so many doctors, medical doctors, PhDs, and all of that. So you just know that, okay, there's definitely, something that I have to live up to. I do enjoy studying. I do enjoy education. I believe that education is power, knowledge is power. And so I'm always trying to improve myself.
That's good. Any comments on social media for you?
Yeah.
All I'm seeing here is that she's fine, Sha. This girl is fine.
Somebody was yabbing Nigerian
to
companies.
Canada.
He said Nigerians wants to hire a business analyst, turn data analyst of 5 years experience with 120,000 Naira salary. It's still 6 figures. 120 is 6 figures. Please. Another person said, this woman sabi gon. She's positive. Then we got comments on. Oh, okay. Sorry. Most of the comments are talking about Nigeria, and they are not so nice. Times Media said soft skills also include being able to work in a multicultural environment, which Japa people lack.
Talking about soft skill, I mean, talking about race, issues of racism. Did you ever encounter that living in Canada, and how did you manage it?
So I would say it was more. I would say maybe it's unconscious or ignorance, because when I go into interviews and I'm speaking, like, you speak so well, how do you speak, English so well? And then I see that as a teaching moment to tell them, our lingua franca is English language, right? We were colonized by the British, like, we speak English, like, that's our official language. And then I pull up my phone and I show them things on the internet, and they're like, oh, I never knew that. So it's always a teaching moment, and I always experience that. And I always found I was always the only Black person in a lot of these companies, so I took it upon myself to educate them. So it's always unconscious, because the truth is a lot of them haven't probably even left the country. They don't really know so much about Africa. So those were some things that, I experienced, and sometimes you would say some things and like, oh, you know that? I'm like, yes, we have TV. Like, we used to watch Cartoon Network, and Mnet and all of that. So, so a lot of times it's more like a teaching moment for me, and it's just like that unconscious bias that they have about us.
I think from the way you speak, you exhume so much confidence, which I think is also lacking in a lot of employees. Because before you even get to your supposed employer, you're fidgeting already.
Yes.
Some people are sweating, and they can tell all of these characteristics.
Yes.
And knowing that, oh, can they actually give you some certain roles to carry out, or responsibilities?
Right.
So what role will you precisely say confidence plays in a person's life going forward?
It plays a huge role. Like, if you're not confident, like you said, it's going to be evident. And like I shared earlier, when you're speaking about yourself, if you don't talk about the things you've achieved, you can't brag, right? And that's something we're not taught to do here. Like, brag about the things you've done. I worked on this project, I worked on this size of a team. This is what we accomplished. We brought in this amount of revenue. Like, if you don't say all those things, like, they wouldn't really know. So being confident is so important, because it opens doors for you. You're able to speak up in meetings where, people would typically not share. And people get to know you. And with the way it is abroad, like, you can speak to the CEO of the company directly. You have town halls. You can ask questions. And that's how you kind of build your brand as well. Also with your social media page. Because these companies will go on your social media pages as well and look at you and see if you have a good personal brand. Those are things that we need to start doing. Be confident about the things you've done. Like, don't shy away. Don't hide it and say village people are going to hear or know about it. Or, if I say what I've accomplished, people will think I'm bragging. No, that's not it. Be confident. Know your worth. Know who you are. Know what you can accomplish. And also push yourself. Like, push yourself for more. Like, don't be scared at all. I think that's something that in every company I worked at, I was always known for. Speaking of,
distinctive.
Yes, asking those tough questions, sharing, my thoughts, and, confidently, and that's something that at every point in time, my leadership will always want my opinion on things, because they knew that, I would confidently tell them, the truth.
Are your parents, I'm sure they're proud of you at this
They are very proud. Here in Nigeria.
They come visit yet? They've not.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Well, we just have to celebrate you today, because, one of the things we like to do as on your view, is always highlight women who are doing great things. And we saw your profile, said, oh, we got to bring her on. But thank you so much.
Thank you for having
coming
me.
on our show.
Thank you.
Tell us about yourself. I wish you all the best.
Thank
Can
you
you tell
so
us about the
much.
program, though? Is it free to everyone to attend?
So there is a little ticket fee because it's a training and they'll get certified at the end. So it actually starts tomorrow. It's Thursday,
okay.
April 11th to 13th at the Zone Bagada. It's a 3-day training and conference. And we're covering unlocking global career opportunities. And we're focusing on business analysis, data analysis, project management, product management, and user research. And then we're also bringing in speakers to talk about how to jackpot for those who want to jackpot, how to move abroad. And then those who want to be here and earn in dollars, we're also bringing in a speaker to share how you can land remote opportunities from Nigeria. So it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic. Congratulations. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye for now.